Okay. So we are going to go a little bit deeper into the Squeaky character. Okay. We're going to do a character analysis for what we call a steal chart. So in your journal where we did the story elements, just flip it onto the other side. Okay, and this is what you're going to be putting in your journal. Okay. Now, steal. It's an acronym. Okay, each letter stands for something. The first one is speech. Now, when we talk about a character's speech, we're not talking about, oh, this character said, hi, cat dog. We're talking about how did the character say, hi, cat dog. Okay, so in this particular story, how does Squeaky speak? What kinds of things does she say that help us to determine what type of character she is? Okay? So if you look at that, oh, by the way, do not copy the questions. All right? That's just there for you to help you with that answer. So it says, based off of what Squeaky says, what trait would you use to describe her? Okay? Thoughts. What things does Squeaky think about? This could be any, because this whole story is just basically her kind of telling the story to us. So what kinds of things does she think about? It can also include her feelings. How does she feel about certain things? Okay? There's a couple of things you can talk about there. You could talk about her thoughts about this upcoming race. You can talk about the thoughts about her brother. Okay? There's a couple of things in this story that she gives us a good sense of her feelings and her thoughts about those topics. Okay? The E is the effects on others. So in other words, how do people around Squeaky react to her? Okay? So when you go back in the story and you look for this, you're looking for where Squeaky interacts with another character. Okay, based off of the way they interact with each other, how does the other character react towards Squeaky? The last two are the easiest ones in this particular story because action. Okay, what kinds of things does Squeaky do? Well, we have a pretty obvious thing we know that she likes to do. What's that? Run. She likes to run. Okay, so when you go back in this story, you're going to be looking for evidence that shows maybe when she's practicing what she's doing. Okay, and then the bottom one is the looks. Based off of what the book tells us, how would you describe Squeaky? Okay, so what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking for these elements of this character Squeaky: the speech, the thoughts on others, the effects, the actions, and the looks. You're going to tell me, based off of those things, how does that character portray themselves? And then you have to find the evidence in the text that shows me that proves that she speaks in that way. Okay? So let's do the first one together. I'm going to help you with the speech one. Okay, so if we look at speech, what kinds of things can we say about Squeaky based on the way she says things?
Confident.
She's very confident. Let's write it down. What else?
Sassy.
She has what?
Sassy.
She's sassy, right? That's a good word. I think those are two good ones, right? She's confident. She's sassy. We could say other things, but those are two good ones. Those are two good ones. Those are two good traits to use to describe her. All right? So now that I know based off of her speech that she's kind of sassy, she's confident, where in the text can I find evidence of her being sassy or being confident?
When she was talking back to
When she was talking about what she's doing in the way,
Okay, when she was gonna win the race. What exactly did she say? That, if we wanna use that, that's on page 29.
There is no track meet that I don't win first place.
There's no track meet that I don't win the first place medal. So there's our evidence right there. Does that line prove that she's confident? Absolutely. All right. So now you all are going to do the same thing for the other four elements: the thoughts, the effects on others, the actions, and the looks. Answer the question and find the evidence from the text that proves that answer. I'm going to put the other screen back up so that you can see those questions again. Does anyone have any questions about what they need to do? All right. Maybe with her brother. Remember what we put here? Put that she's protected. Okay. Is there anywhere in there where she talks about that protection she has for him? What do you guys think about thoughts? What kinds of thoughts does she have? So, how does she act when she talks about her husband? She acts protected. Okay, so whenever it comes to Raymond, her thoughts about other people doing something to him, she gets very defensive, right? Can we find anywhere in the text where where we see that in her, where it shows her being very protective or very defensive about people saying things to him? Right? Because what, she knew when you talked about her brother, that was like, you're crossing the line here. Hmm? Yeah. Maybe go towards the bottom. I think that's where you might have a lot of evidence. And then how does she react to that? What does she say? There you go. No, you don't have to. You can just do that one line here, where she responds to. Now, I want you to go a step further here. You said her brother. What is it about her brother? What are her thoughts towards her brothers? Because in certain parts of the story, she thinks about him as far as how people respond to him. And then towards the end of the story, she thinks about him in a different light because of what she sees him doing. So what specifically, I want you to go take that a little step further. And by the way, I forgot to mention, you don't necessarily have to start at the top. If you wanna, move around and switch and go to the bottom, because I did say the actions and the looks were a little bit easier to find, you can always start there too, as long as you can complete all of them, but I don't care where you start, as long as you get them all done, okay? Did you find it? Like right in here, she says something about that. How does she feel about the running? Right. So in order for her to be determined, what does she have to do all the time? She has to practice. So is she talking about that anywhere right in here? Mm-hmm. And what does she say about that? What does she say about her breathing exercises right there? Okay, so could that be our evidence to prove her, that she's really serious about running?